Okay, well, welcome everyone to session number 37, the Trail Guy here. In today's session, we're going to be, and I'm really excited, I'll be interviewing Paul Underhill, who is a co-founder of a new drink. There's a buzz around BC and mid-eastern Canada about a new nutritional drink, so we're going to get Paul to talk about it. But before we start that, I've got my regular quote for today's session. Passionate, patience, and persistent produces progress. Okay, so I'm going to be having Paul Underhill come. He's the founder of a drink called Rumble, and I'm going to get Paul in to come in here now, and we're going to talk about this exciting new drink. Paul.
Hey.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Oh, I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, good. Yeah. So, pretty excited about that. So I've got a few questions I'd like to ask you.
Sure.
We'll get it. Okay. I guess the first question, Paul, I have is, could you tell us about yourself a bit?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm a Victoria resident. I've been here all my life, and I was born actually with a condition called cystic fibrosis, which is a genetic disease, and it manifests primarily in the lungs. So I've lived that my life, but despite that, as a young kid, I was quite active in running. I did, track and field, 10Ks and cross country.
Yes.
Couldn't do that for many years in my, teens and 20s. Sort of disease progressed, but I've recently been through a double lung transplant, and now back running and cycling.
Wow, cool. Okay. Well, question here. I guess we'll start out here.
Sure.
What motivated you to create the Rumble?
Absolutely, it's a great question, and it comes from, as I say, I have the CF, so being in need of nutrient-dense foods, not having a lot of energy, patience, and time to make them. I really wanted something that was ready to drink, and I wanted something that was nutritionally balanced, and by that I mean, had the right proportion of carbs, protein, and healthy fats. So I went out to the local health food store thinking, I gotta find something like that, and nothing existed. And I talked to one fellow, he's like, if we had something like that, I'm sure it would sell well. And that was like a little light bulb in my head. I'm like, I'm not the only one looking for this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Well, interesting. Okay. Now, what is Rumble to you, and why is it so important?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to me, I mean, more than anything, it's sort of the fulfillment of a dream. It's been 5 years now since that initial aha moment. And to see it on the shelf is incredibly rewarding, to see people drinking it and receiving these testimonials. But really, it's just it's more than just a manifestation of a dream. It's also the end product of a great team effort, the collaboration among many to make something like this happen.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, it's a we call it Canada's healthiest drink. So
I see. Okay.
Think of it that way.
Okay. And just going back, touching, you said you were happy because you're one of the owners, and who else is involved?
Yeah, so my buddy Steve and I co-founded it 5 years ago.
Yes.
He has a bit of experience in food industry, but he's also a very active outdoorsy guy that's done all kinds of events and knew of that sort of athletic bent of the drink, whereas I was coming at it originally from a position of somebody who was sick and needed nourishment. So he saw the athletic side of things, and then Dr. Kim McQueen is our naturopath, and she's an equal partner in the endeavor. And she's a naturopath who specializes in nutrition. She's also an athlete and runner herself.
Yes.
And she's treated treated and also advised Olympic teams and so forth, rowers, and so she had her specific knowledge that she brought to the enterprise, and it's been invaluable.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Nice team.
And
Wow.
of course her brother-in-law James has been sort of the central grinder, getting things done. When I was back in Toronto getting a double lung transplant and sick, he was working every day to help bring this dream to reality.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, so
Oh,
the four of us are really doing a good job.
You are. Now, why is it called a nutrition drink?
Yeah, so our nourishing drink. Yeah, it's a great question. So why nourishing drink? Why not energy drink?
Yeah.
We really wanted to say to the consumer that we are something different. We believe that we are creating a new category entirely, and the existing categories, none of them quite fit. So we've got energy drinks, which tend to be sort of sugary and have artificial stimulants or caffeine, which is natural, but still not necessarily. It's not the jolt of energy we're looking for. We're looking to provide natural, sustained energy. So as an all-natural, mostly organic beverage, we thought that doesn't really fit with the energy drink name.
Yes.
Meal replacement? No, not quite. By law in Canada, meal replacements have an unhealthy ratio of omega-6 to omega-3, and we don't want either sick people or athletes having that kind of a ratio of fatty acids. So we thought we don't want to do a replacement. We certainly don't want to call ourselves that and get confused for it. So that's off to the side. And then protein shake, we do have protein, but we have so much more going on that that's just not quite accurate. So Nourishing was something that we applied to. The government actually approved it, and they require us to have a common descriptor name that is a generic category, not just the brand name. So they actually approved that and said, yep, you are Nourishing, and hence we are the first Nourishing drink in Canada.
Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Now, who is it for, or I guess what makes it a good choice for, let's say, trail runners?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we obviously see different groups buying and using Rumble, anywhere from people who are in need of nourishment, like I was. We have soccer moms buying it for the kids to back to school, but primarily we see the people buying it by the case are in fact athletes, both runners, cyclists, and other athletes.
Yes.
Specifically the trail running, I think it depends on distance, and I know I guess you yourself have used it for your own running, but I
have been using it, but I was using it for after a long run of 3 hours plus. But now earlier you were saying that it could be used more.
Absolutely, and so there's multi-purposes. And if I personally use it, I drink it every day, and I use it like you after a run or a ride. But I've also started using it before. I'm in a bit of a hurry, and I realize the gap between when I'm eating and when I'm going to be doing my run or my ride is not quite long enough. I reach for a Rumble because it's so quickly assimilated. It has the nourishment that I'm looking for. It has that balance. It's going to give me a little bit of energy to get me out there without sitting in the stomach and slow me down. So it can use pre-ride fuel or pre-run fuel, and then post-ride or run recovery. Those are the two primary uses.
Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Now, here's another question: is how often do you drink the Rumble?
Yeah, well, that's as I say, I literally drink it every day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a daily drinker. I think we had to have one of us, willing to do that, and I was more than eager. So, before that, I was using the blender a lot. Now, the blender is sitting and getting dust, and the cans are piling up.
Good. Okay. Now, there's 2 flavors.
Yep.
Could you tell us about the 2 flavors?
Sure.
Comes in 2 different flavors.
Absolutely. Dutch cocoa, named after my wife, and named after what I found in the cupboard when I was using Dutch cocoa powder.
Yeah.
And then the vanilla maple, that was my personal favorite because it's just one of those things that I've always liked maple, and I wanted to make the vanilla different. It actually has walnut in there too, so vanilla maple walnut. It's a bit of a subtle flavor that sort of hits the sweet spot for a lot of people.
Good. And then we've got here Dutch cocoa.
Yeah, Dutch cocoa, like I said, that's my wife's favorite.
Yes.
And I'd say it's actually the more popular of the two in terms of sales. When we do demos, they're both equally popular. But people who don't know or aren't willing to take the risk on a vanilla maple, they'll pick up the Dutch cocoa, and they're always satisfied. So
right. And I said, I've noted here, it said it's not chunky or thick.
No, yeah, that's part of it. 5 years of R&D went into making this what it is, and we love where it ended up. We are it went beyond our expectations and our hopes, so we're really quite satisfied. It's a little bit, people sometimes expect it to be thicker, and we deliberately made it quite drinkable, almost sort of thirst quenching.
Good. Okay. Now you can do it for, it says here another quote. It says here you can do rigorous activity after downing a whole bottle.
For sure, that's something that we discovered only after we went to market, and that's exactly what I've done. I've done a full bottle and then head out the door 10 minutes later to go for a long ride.
Interesting.
And like I say, although most people tend to use it afterwards, and certainly that's the sweet spot for the beverage, it does almost equally as well as a pre-ride or pre-run fuel.
Pre-run fuel, good. Okay. Now I see here, what else? Oh yes, aluminum bottle.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, great question. We wanted to pick the container that was best for the environment at the end of the day.
Yes.
And although other things are theoretically recyclable, aluminum is the most recycled beverage material on the market.
Yes.
It's resealable, it's reusable, it's returnable for deposit. It's got all these things going for it. And we've had people repurposing the can. We have some people made camping stoves out of them. So it came down to the environment and convenience for the user.
Interesting. Good. Okay. Now, any final thoughts or anything or advice or anything for people out there?
Yeah. No. I think we always we talk about this as being so well nutritionally balanced, and it is. It's got so much going on. You have to check out the website to sort of see lactose-free, non-GMO ingredients, gluten-free, all these good things. But at the end of the day, we also always encourage people to eat full healthy meals with lots of fruits and vegetables and whole grains, etc. So this is just one part. That's something that can they can be there for a post workout activity, and also to get them through those days when they're a bit too busy.
Good, okay. Now guys, before we take off, I want to make sure you guys do go on the website. So I'll write it down. Here's the website, drinkrumble.com. Hope you can see that clearly, and you'll get more information on that. It's available in, again, BC and parts of Canada, and any other in the future. Is there anything going to be happening?
Yeah, it's all across Canada right now, actually.
Yeah.
People just ask for it at their local natural health food grocer, and we'll be hopefully launching in the States in the new year.
The new year, okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Love to have
All
you.
right,
Thanks
thank
for
you very
being
much.
here, Paul.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, good. Okay, thanks.
Cheers.
And everyone, thanks for being on session number 37. The Trail Guy here. Take care.